We will also, I'm trying to get another guest speaker, and she is from RX Learning right next door. She usually comes very graciously to talk about their problem. They deal with people that are ADD, but then she also will introduce you to some of the things that they do to stimulate these kids so that their learning will be stimulated. Then I have two teachers that hopefully will get to come, and they talk on a new type of learning where everything is put into a repeated kind of situation where they discuss something and then they sing it and then they role play it back and forth. All of this is for brain training. Now, the reason I do that is, we still do not use our full brain capacity. As a matter of fact, we use very little of it. And the less we can use, the better off we think we are, right? Because nobody wants to wear themselves out thinking. It makes me tired just looking at it, When I was going to seminary, they would hand out all of our assignments the very first day of class. And they had everything. And you would look at that and you would say, there's no way. And then I would take a calendar and I go and through the whole semester and I put where something's due and where something else is due and when a test is going to be. And I learned that the best way for me to tackle that is to take it month by month and not try to look at the whole semester because it was more than my brain could handle. Seriously. I would even put down there when I needed to start work on a paper so that I would be finished with one paper so I could start work on the next one. Does that make sense? Because you have so many that, that just keep coming. Now, if we have those guest speakers, if they get to come, and I know Judy, she loves to come, she's going to introduce you to a book. It's a children's book. It's called ADD or XYZ. And it talks about, in a child's language, how these children feel when they have ADD. In other words, as you go through this children's book, it's very well illustrated, colorful, all of this stuff. And she went to a conference. Now, because she's special ed, she has done a lot of research on ADD, and many of her students in her classes were ADD. And her first assignment as a special aid teacher was to adapt their learning styles so that if they were a visual learner, then whatever class they would have, they were able to kind of see it. If they were another kind of learner, they would get, and she would have to adapt their test and all of their work to their type of learning. Now, a lot of school systems do not like to handle that because it's extra work. Now, Judy will debate you on it because there are kids today that she adapted their work when they were in junior high and now they're in college because trained their brain how to adapt their studies. Now, ADD plays a great deal in that. What are some of the signs that you would say an ADD person has?
Fidgeting a lot.
Fidgeting a lot. They can't concentrate for a long period of time. I have had, now this is not true, and I can't call any names. They're not with us anymore. They moved to Alabama. But I've had a lady that was in my school class who was so ADD that she could not sit through an entire school class. Exactly. And if she had to sit for 5 minutes, she looked like she was going to jump out of that chair. And it got higher and higher, and finally she'd just get up and walk around. Now, again, look at her like, oh, it's crazy. Now, she wasn't on any medication, but let me tell you, she couldn't help it. She could not sit through the whole class.
Now, we have to remember that there are people that are like that. When I was growing up, back in the dark ages, you sat in your desk, and the only way you got to go to the bathroom was to raise your hand, proclaim to the whole class you had to go to the bathroom, and then she would give you an excuse. Or you went at bathroom break. And I had some teachers who would not let us go except at bathroom break. And we sat there, and we sat there. Now, the children who are ADD, and ADD is not a new disease. We've had it for a long, long time. There was the one right there.
I'll tell you all day.
I hate a chair. I don't know where it came from. It's terrible. Anyway, we have to realize that these people are not stupid. They do not have a learning disability. They can learn. It's just that some of them cannot learn under the structure that we set forth for them. Okay?
This kind of, I was just sitting here thinking about all this. I mean, I don't want to try to open it for that bag of cat or whatever that's.
Bag of worm.
Bag of, yeah, can of worm. Can of worm, there you go. The Common Core that's going to be in this, I'm not saying I totally disagree with so many things, but I'm wondering, it'll be more adventurous to someone when they do the math and stuff like that, because I don't know if I've seen the math problems in that. But you're talking about some stuff.
1 plus 1 does not equal 2.
It's something, I know, I saw a division problem that should have been that big, this big. I mean, they take this thing and they dissect
All
so
the way.
many different.
It's like we used to have to diagram sentences. But I hated that.
I hate that. What purpose did they do that? I've never used it.
Never know. Never know. The problem with the Common Core is that some of these ADD students need the structure, but it needs to be structured to their learning abilities, what type of learning they have. The reason that my daughter was able to pass classes was that she taught herself to memorize the flashcards. That's how she learned it. But he could not retain that much at the test time. She just didn't. I mean, that's just not what would happen. If she is on medication, she can retain and function very normally.
That was the same way I was. I can tell you how many flashcards I went through, and I was on medication, and it was a fail.
Well, she could read a sentence. I mean, she could read a paragraph, and they would ask her questions on it. She couldn't remember it just didn't register. But there again, there were things that she could do that she excelled in, and those are the things that we had to learn to motivate her and get her to make her a success. I'll never forget when we moved to Shreveport. She had come from elementary school. No, it was middle school. She had gone into middle school. That was in a very low income part. As a matter of fact, they locked the gates behind the buses so bad. But they had some teachers who had been there, can I say, too long? And so they taught like they used to teach years ago. And my poor daughter they loved her because she was a sweet child. And she could act, she could do all kinds of artistic things, but she just didn't fit in with their style of learning. We moved to Shreveport, and we explained this to the principal at her school, which she was going into junior high, and she said, well, what she needs some activities. And she put her in 4-H. Now, they didn't farm, but they did do activity. They did do projects. They were like the service organization for the school. Sarah ate that up. She got so excited she tried out for cheerleader and made cheerleader. They never thought the child would ever do anything like that. Because when she was in kindergarten, her kindergarten teacher called us and says, "Does Sarah know how to talk?" She just doesn't talk. But it was because she felt inadequate, okay? Now, ADD is something we need to know about because it does cause problems with families. There are many parents that just do not know how to handle their children. And you'll read some case studies about parents who try very hard to structure their children's life and it didn't work. It backfired. We'll talk about individuals who say, well, when I was your age, we used to do this, this, and this. Well, if that child does not relate to that kind of situation, then you're barking up the wrong tree. So they come to our office and say, we can't handle this child. Okay. Excuse me. Now, everything you need for this class to be in your workbook. There is a workbook. There are assignment stuff. We'll take this book chapter by chapter until we discuss it. So, if you don't have your book yet, hopefully it'll come in. Remember, we will not have class next week because it's Memorial Day. So you have a whole nother week to get your book in. Excuse me.
2-3 books.
Okay.
My classes, and all, I've got 2 things due tomorrow I'll be able to do.
Already?
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
Slave drivers.
That, Kenny's class, apologetics, this new
Oh, Lord.
apologetics that they've got is solid. I'm solid, dead going. 3, I have to write a paper on each chapter, I know that.
Oh, my word.
It's an awesome book.
I love my apologetics class, but it was 4-hour class. We went every day to apologetics.
Dead going. No, this is, we have, I don't know if you've seen other
Yeah.
apologetic books, this is the one we're going out of.
It's a good book.
Man, I've already read it, I had it already.
Okay, anybody on eCampus have any questions? Hopefully you have been emailed all of your stuff. I will try to make this class as relaxing, as fun as possible. As you know, I don't like dreary classes. Did Santos sign on? Anybody else? Is
Came in right after you
is there a Rex Lewis?
dates for the science?
I'll have that next week. I will email everybody a syllabus next week on eCampus. Our final will be the 18th of August. Whew, it's going to be hot.
So we do these 3 assignments at the end.
The 3 assignments at the end, do they specify if one's for master's,
It
PhD?
doesn't say.
What's in the front?
Collateral reading,
Page that.
finishing after the sheet. It's about page report on subject related to the course being studied.
Is that for people?
That's PhD only. Yeah.
That's no
You know me, I made that not
Good
do.
grief.
What?
I'm looking at the old school math question compared to what it's gonna be. I just feel dumb as a rock and then I get back to elementary school.
And give children their homework.
Man, it ain't gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm looking at these questions.
There's no way I can
feel dumb.
get my kids now, grandkids. They're studying till in college.
Right.
I'm going, what happened to Play-Doh and all that fun stuff?
Just going outside playing on the playground and
They don't do that much anymore.
I've
I
seen-
know there's an issue and there's a problem, and some of the best teachers I know, out at where I'm at home, some of the best teachers I know went ahead and retired
Yeah.
because of this situation.
No, I read
They were
some-
excellent teachers.
Something, last week said in Sweden, school teachers are paid on the same level as physicians. That children have every day an hour and a half PE or outside activities. They're outside.
There's a lot of room for America to grow, you know. Like, one of the things that I did here was a great thing that will come out of this is that I think it's like 3/4 of the world will not do you unless you have metric system. So that's one good thing that'll come out of it. I mean, that's the only thing I've heard.
Make them-
But as far as PE and stuff,
There ain't none.
there's too many alternatives to it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think ROTC is a great program for kids that, to be disciplined, because I was in it, and did, well, could have done a great help for me, but I didn't let it.
You chose.
I chose not to. The reason I took it because I could
Great.
I could go party and not have to worry about, you know, bumming my buzz, but, you know, that's the reason other than that, I didn't have to go do all physicals and stuff. But then I found out that it's a lot more fun to do physicals than get back called pickle day.
That's right. Okay. Have a great week. We will be out next week for Memorial Day, and then we will hit the road running. We'll get back.
So yes, we changed something midstream there. So yes, on the last three.
Let me see what those last three things are. They may not be. I didn't bring my pen.
The thing for me is when I moved here, because I played high school football in Birmingham. I moved here because the curriculum's totally different than up here than it is here. And so they had to give me an equivalency test, and I got a master's degree on everything. Except for English and reading, because I hated that, I never studied it, but.
I think
I don't
probably,
understand none of this.
I think probably we will do 1 and 2. The research project is great for kids that aren't going to a lot of classes, and they may just be taking it by correspondence. But that's a lot of 6.5 pages and dealing, doing all that stuff. Y'all aren't going to have time for that. That's crazy.
We already got one.
Um,
Oh, there's some there that tell us.
This research paper on the last page, I don't think we're gonna do that. It's much you have to do a case study. If you guys weren't working and didn't have anything else to do, that'd be great. But first two are easy. They just relate to the topic of the class. So I don't mind, I see no reason for you to spend all that time on a case study when, yeah,
All right, school was still in.
well, yeah.
I think you're one of them.
Yeah.
We got a guy go to a little boy go to our church. His mom made him right though. She's very impatient.
Is that the only research paper we have, or is that
There are two other things that are in.
two other ones?
Yeah. 1 and 2, assignment 1 and 2, we will do.
Is that the only ones in there in this? Just those two assignments?
Yes.
We have another, right.
There's a lot of reading in this one. Not hard reading, it's just a lot of it.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Marlene.
You're welcome.
Wait, hold on. What are you doing here?
Who?